We have done a surprising amount of these at this point. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and welcome to another First Impression Showdown. I believe this is the 15th one. That's insane. We've done quite a lot of these, and we've done a lot of first impressions that just weren't part of showdowns either. Showdowns are just a lot easier to handle it. If you're new to the channel, though, first of all, welcome. Hope you have fun here. We have a lot of great content. But if you don't know what a first impressions showdown is, let me break it down for you real quick. First off, first impressions. This is a type of reaction I do here on the channel where I'm not sure if it's going to be something I'm going to be into. I'm not sure if it's going to be a series that I'm going to want to react to specifically. And so I give it a first impression. I check out the first episode or so and determine if this is something that I want to react to, something I would rather watch on my own time, or something I'm just not interested in. It's one of those three options. And so that's what we're doing here, but this is a first impression showdown, which means that we are doing multiple first impressions in the same video. And today we're doing 3 of them, and all 3 of them are actually donation reward first impressions from Venom, our most consistent donator. So let's go over what we have in today's showdown. We have Krapopolis, Shangri-La Frontier, and The Rising of the Shield Hero. So 1 Western cartoon and 2 anime. So let's go over what I know about them. So Krapopolis is the Western cartoon of the group, and it's something I've briefly heard of. It's one of those adult animated series out there that I've just not been interested in because I've talked about this before, but I find most adult animated shows to be shitty, if I'm being honest. And I'm not just talking like in this style of like American Dad or Family Guy or whatnot. Like these, I'm talking more of the lower end of things, the kinds of shows you would see on Adult Swim for the most part, and not shows that started somewhere else or anime. I'm talking about like the Mr. Pickles or whatnot, and not older Adult Swim shows that were actually good like Metalocalypse or Venture Bros. But I've seen this as kind of this same kind of thing. I think though this is on like Fox's Animation Domination block or something. And what I know about this series is that it focuses on, I believe, Greek gods. It's either Greek or Roman, which, mind you, are the same gods, just with different names. So it's focusing on that kind of thing. And I think I might have seen a clip once or twice on TikTok. I've definitely seen what the art and animation looks like, and it's not my thing in terms of visual style, but I don't think I've seen any, like, or not enough at least, of the actual content to judge it based on its humor, because it's very clearly a comedy, like most of these tend to be. I haven't seen enough to judge it on its humor, its character work, its story work, etc. So, we'll see. We'll see. After that, we have the 2 anime, both of which I believe are isekai. I think. Shangri-La Frontier is about a guy who's in a video game world, and he has a bird head, I think. I don't know anything else about the series other than that. I've seen what the character looks like, and I think I saw a clip once. I could not tell you what happened in it, but I believe I saw a clip on TikTok once of the guy with the bird head. Which I assume is like, if he's in a video game world, it's probably like some character creator kind of thing, or some aesthetic option that he could like put on his character. I've seen stuff like that in video games. I don't know what to expect really with this one because I don't know anything about it. Like the title Shangri-La Frontier, Shangri-La is like a an afterlife thing, right? I think it's like kind of this paradise like afterlife, but I can't remember like what folklore slash mythology it's from. So I couldn't tell you much of anything about it. But then we also have the Rising of the Shield Hero, and is this one's interesting because I know it was really popular at first, but that popularity kind of died down. And I think it's like either season 2 or 3. I know there's 3 seasons. One of either season 2 or 3 just really like didn't get the same amount of love as the first season did. And I know at some point with the dub, the main character's voice actor had to be replaced because Billy Kamitz, who is voicing the main character, unfortunately passed away due to his battle with, I believe it was cancer. And it was like this really big deal for him to like have to find out he was dealing with that, and then for his passing to happen, and it hit the entire anime industry hard. I will be reacting to the sub though, just letting you know, because it was what was requested. In fact, I'm doing the sub for Shangri-La Frontier as well. It's what was requested of me. It's what we're going with. um, I don't entirely know what to expect with this series. Like, I think the only thing I know about is the main character uses a shield. I mean, makes sense with the title, right? Rising of the Shield Hero. And the thing is, I've played games and stuff where a shield can be used as a weapon. And, like, logically, realistically speaking, a shield could absolutely be used as a fucking weapon. And has been in points in history. It depends on how the shield is made and how it's built, but it can absolutely be used as a bashing weapon. And if it has like sharp points and stuff, it can even be used to slice or stab. It's like it's very possible to use a shield as a weapon. In actually one of the games I'm playing right now, Forspoken, I'm playing that on my own time. One of the styles you can use for your magic is to create a shield of rocks. Um, to use both defensively and offensively. So there you go, as a specific example of using a shield as a weapon. Even though you're building the shield at the moment, but still. Um, yeah, again, I know it started off popular but kind of died down, but I know it still has its fans. And again, I think I've seen a clip or two here or there randomly. Um, and I think it's an isekai as well, if I remember hearing right. But I don't know what to expect with like really any of these three. I have a feeling that Krapopolis is probably the one I would like the least, but I'm going to give it a fair shot, just like I give everything on this channel. I want to give it a fair chance to prove me wrong, because many shows have proven me wrong before. I thought I would hate Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, end up loving it. Absolutely adore the series. Just as an example. But I didn't react to that, mind you. Well, I reacted to season 2. So I did react to part of it. But yeah, I definitely hope it proves me wrong. So we're gonna see. Like I said, I don't know what to expect, but also for how this is gonna go before we actually get this started. So in the description below, as always with these reactions, there will be the links to the reactions. They will all be separate. So there will be 3 reaction links in the description below for each of the 3 shows. And after the mid-card of this redirect, there will be 3 separate points of afterthoughts. I'm going to record the episodes and the afterthoughts one by one. So, like, I'll record Krapopolis and then record the Krapopolis afterthoughts before recording the next reaction. But on this video, after the mid-card, you'll see the Krapopolis afterthoughts, and then you'll see the afterthoughts specifically for Shangri-La, and then after that for Shield Hero. So it'll all be tagged in the it'll all be time stamped, so you'll be able to go to whichever ones you watch easily, just by looking on the progress bar to when that specific one comes up. Or you could just go in the description and click on the timestamp itself. Either way, whatever works best for you. But yeah, that's how this is going to be done. And let's get into this and see what these first episodes have in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back with the Krapopolis portion of the afterthoughts, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Yeah, this is pretty much what I expected it to be. This was bad, like really bad. But I'm not like surprised, because this is how a lot of these like adult animations tend to go. It's like, oh, we're just going to have people, like, aggressively and randomly die, show a lot of blood. That makes it adult. We're going to have swearing. That makes it adult. We're going to have a shit ton of random modern pop culture references and stuff, even though the series takes place in the ancient past. And we're going to reference sex and stuff a lot. That makes it adult. It's like, this is like the lowest form of adult animation. Like, the thing is, with stuff like Family Guy, at least they try. Mind you, it's offensive and terrible and just ridiculously in bad taste, but at least they put forth effort. The shows like this are no effort. They hire these big-name actors because they think that'll get people to watch, and to a degree it does. But they think it automatically makes it good. No, you're padding out the fact that you have, like, the bare bones of a story. Like, practically nothing in terms of, like, good characters. And, like, anti-humor. Like, there was, like, really nothing funny about this. It was honestly extremely cringeworthy and annoying. All of the characters fucking suck. And like, not just are they, like, terrible people, but they just are terribly written characters. Like, basically bringing two gods down to the level of having a slap fight and just like bitching at each other while turning people randomly into snakes is like, why? It's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the gods, like the Greek gods, are known for being excessively petty and ridiculous towards each other, yes, but that's just stupid. Like, that's just ridiculously stupid. And again, it tries so hard to be adult by just making, like, jokes about sex. Not even good jokes, though. They're just jokes about sex. Having characters just like be killed super randomly and just bloodily. Bloodily is not a word, but you know what I mean. With a lot of blood, a lot of violence, and just they think that makes it an adult series. It doesn't. It makes it an immature series that doesn't know how to properly make a show for adults. I've talked about this before, but shows like this are less of an adult animated series than the Owl House is. The Owl House actually provides storytelling, character work, depth, and just overall maturity that shows like this wish they had. Like, those are shows that are like more like believably for adults than something like this. Owl House, Amphibia, those are more adult friendly shows than this is. This is the kind of show that a 13-year-old edgy kid watches when they think that they're more mature than they actually are. It's the American Pie of animation. Where it's like, oh, we're just gonna be as cringy and dumb and vulgar as possible, and that means we're an adult show. No. No, that's not how anything works. And the problem is, these shows are a dime a dozen. You get them constantly, all over the place. Fox does it a lot. Adult Swim does it a lot. All these like networks just pump out these shows like I don't know, fucking candy. Because no one gives a shit. Some of them even get pretty popular. The creators, the writers, they don't have to try. People are going to watch because people, for some reason, look for this kind of shit. Despite not getting anything in return from watching it. Like, I tend to just, in general, not be huge into a lot of comedy-focused animated shows. Because it's like, they tend to be either super episodic, which I'm not always the biggest fan of, or they tend to be just, like this, where they just don't put any effort into actually making it funny or interesting or well thought out. And I always prefer when a show has comedy in it, but that's not the focus. Hell, when the focus is on the story and characters, the comedy can oftentimes come naturally because of that. Again, citing The Owl House has some fantastic comedy. It's a really funny show. But you have like actual like quality character work and storytelling. Ruby is phenomenal at this, has awesome comedy. Great moments of levity that really help with the extremely depressing shit because the series is so fucking good with its storytelling and character work that it makes you fucking depressed at every turn. Jesus. It's like, you never feel as bad about living just in general as you do when you're watching Ruby. But at the same time, that's just how good it is because it makes you really fucking upset at everything that happens because you care about the story and the characters. It's that well made. But this, you could kill off literally any and every of these characters. I wouldn't give a shit. Because I have no reason to care about them. They're not endearing, they're not funny, they're not entertaining. They're nothing. They, on the most basic level, they exist. That's the only thing I can say about them. At least in a semi-positive manner. They're annoying as sin. They're cringy. The writing is atrociously bad. It's like, what am I supposed to think watching this? Oh, I know what I'm supposed to think, by the way. I was being, like, sarcastic and everything. Well, I guess more facetious. Either way, they want me to laugh. They think that this is funny for some reason. They think being an annoying prick is funny. It's not. They think being a cringy asshole is funny. It's not. They think it's funny to just make random pop culture references and say things that are, out of pocket for the time period that this takes place in, and think that's funny. It's not. You can't just say stuff like that and have it be funny. If you're going to make pop culture references, they have to work within the context of what's going on, and also have to have good delivery. Comedy always has to have good delivery. And this doesn't. Shows like this just don't. If you like this, all the power to you. You have that right, and I'm not going to tell you you're wrong because it's an opinion, and you can't be wrong with that. But that also means that I'm not wrong either, because it's my opinion. I don't like this, like, at all. Like, actively, actually kind of hate it. It is super actively not my kind of thing in any way, shape, or form. It's not something I want to react to. It is not something I want to watch on my own time. It's honestly something I just want to forget exists. This is bottom of the barrel shit, in my opinion. And again, it's just my opinion. If you like this, you're entitled to that. I'm not going to tell you otherwise. But this is my reaction, and this is my afterthoughts, and I'm going to share my genuine thoughts. And I think this is terrible. That's my genuine belief here. So, yeah. We're just going to move on from here. And get to the other reactions and afterthoughts. So, see you then. Welcome to the Shangri-La Frontier portion of the afterthoughts. If you are looking for another portion of the afterthoughts, this is the wrong one. But if you're here for the afterthoughts to Shangri-La Frontier, well, you're in the right place. And we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, there was an after credits scene. I just didn't even think about looking for that. There was an after credits scene, but it wasn't really much of anything. It showed like this big armored knight person standing like at the edge of a town or village or something that was leading into a forest. That's all it was. Just, it showed some citizens, I guess, taking notice of them, but we just saw the knight standing there and nothing else. There was also this little SLF theater thing, which is a little chibi like fun comedy bit at the end. Some shows have that. One Piece in the late Wano arc and leading into the Egghead Island arc started introducing that with like Robin and everything. But other shows have done that kind of thing too, so I don't tend to watch those. It's not my thing. Hunter x Hunter did one, and that was probably the best version of that, because that was actually giving more information that didn't have like time to be like talked about in the actual show for one reason or another. But I don't tend to watch these like little chibi things at the end of the episode, so I just didn't watch it. But I did watch the little after credits scene part. Okay, so that being said, so this takes place in a near future where video games have basically just become like full dive VR, basically like Sword Art Online, where you put on the VR headset and you dive fully into the game. You have full mental control over what happens. So this isn't really an isekai. Because from what we see, he's not stuck in the game or anything. He's just playing it. And the series is going to be seeing him playing the game. But our main character is referred to as a freak. He is the type of gamer who specifically goes out of his way to play terrible games. Games that have been super lowly rated, games that are full of bugs and glitches and bad writing, bad characters, etc., etc. He just was playing this game like Ferraria or something like that. He just finished it. He'd been playing it for a while. It has a lot of issues with it. The companion character, this elf girl, is like really annoying. She's like really like hard to keep on your side, and you can like piss her off, and that can derail like the main story and everything. On top of it, she's kind of behind all the bad things that are happening because of her stupidity or negligence or whatnot. So at the end, when he finally beats the final boss, there's like this 3-minute window where there's a cutscene that's supposed to be happening between that and the credits. And he just uses that time to just beat the ever-loving shit out of her. And you know what? That's really funny. Like, how many of us who have played all these games and stuff have wanted to do that to certain characters? Certain characters who are just annoying as sin, whether they're bad guys or not. Remember, like I talked about Skyrim during the reaction. Remember Cicero from Skyrim? God, I wanted to beat the shit out of him, but I don't think you actually could. I think he was kind of immune to being attacked like a lot of the kids. I think all of the kids. Because I think he was quest important. I think that's why. He was like part of the Dark Brotherhood, I believe. But anyways, point is, there's a lot of characters in these games where it's like, oh yeah, they're annoying as sin. You wish you could just take them out, but you're just not able to, because you just don't have that option. You just can't do it for one reason or another. But with this game, as bad as it was, he was able to. Now, in the real world, like this is all he really does with gaming. He's big into it, but he loves to play these bad games and to note how bad they are. It's fun for him. He has this girl who's crushing on him, who she's definitely going to be in the in Shangri-La Frontier as well. She's definitely one of the characters we see in the intro. I just don't know what one. Maybe she's the knight. I mean, that would be interesting. But yeah, she's definitely going to come into this, and she's going to connect with him, and it might like carry over into the real world and stuff. We'll see. But he ends up being suggested by this owner of a game shop he frequents, who is like this like hot, seemingly 30-year-old lady, but she might be a little older. It's hard to say. But she is really hot. Like, it's just like instantly when seeing her, it's like, oh, like you're just really fucking pretty. I love your hair. But she suggests to him, like, instead of continuing to play all these bad games, especially after taking so long on this last one, maybe he should take a break from that and play, like, a critically acclaimed game for once. Something that's, like, the complete opposite. That'll allow him to not only appreciate the bad games that he plays, because of how good games can be, but allows him to see another side of things than he usually does. And so she suggests to him Shangri-La Frontier, this game that's made by, I believe the company is Utopia. And it's literally Guinness World Record winning. It's excessively popular. it's one of those games that has so few haters that they end up kind of getting drowned out because like there's just that many people who adore the game. Um, I've been on both sides of that, by the way. I've been on the side of like, oh, I'm one of the very few haters a game has. And then I've been on the side where it's like, oh, I love this game like everyone loves it. Like the Horizon games are extremely popular, and I love them. They have very few haters. They do have some, and I've seen some, but they definitely get drowned out by how many people love that. That's absolutely a fantastic example. But then there's like games where a lot of people will love the game, and it's just like I can't see the appeal of it. Like I tried playing the first BioShock game, a super critically like loved darling of a game. I tried playing it for like a few hours worth of time, and it's like this is not my kind of game at all. I do not like this. I am not enjoying this at all. Of course, I don't tend to like shooters, like for the most part. There's some exceptions out there, but for the most part, shooters are like one of my least favorite things. Also, I'm not very into sci-fi as much. I prefer fantasy games, which I guess is why I'm enjoying Forspoken so much because I love the fantasy aspects of that. But I love like Skyrim and whatnot. Um, I love uh, just games like that. I'm trying to think of specific examples, and it's hard for me. I guess Sandland, which I loved, my favorite game from last year. That's kind of fantasy like. It's a different kind of fantasy, with it being like Akira Toriyama and everything, but it's still fantasy. And of course, it's all like it's not a perfect system because there are some sci-fi games I like. In fact, my favorite game of all time is a sci-fi game, Detroit Become Human. So it's like there is sci-fi that I really like. It's just on average, I do tend to prefer fantasy. I like dragons and elves and dwarves and stuff over robots and aliens and shit. But it just depends. It just depends on the game. From what I'm seeing of this game, though, with Shangri-La Frontier, this seems like a game that I would probably be into. Like, the character creator seemed extremely expansive, and I love a good character creator. I really love a good character creator. You have no idea. Um, and so when I get to see one like that, I would say would be that good looking. Like you see all the like class choices and everything. You had all these different classes and subclasses to each one. It's like huge list. All these different customization options. You could even sell starting gear and stuff to earn a little like early game money. It's like there's just so many implements of that like character creator that just really spoke to me. Um, I guess like the closest example I could give as something with the class system and everything, I would compare it to something like Baldur's Gate 3. But with what I saw from like the sliders with the actual character model design, it reminded me more of what is it called? Dragon Age, the Veilguard. I did the character creator for that on the gaming channel. And I do plan to play the full game on the channel, by the way. But I did the character creator because that was free as a demo, basically. And it's one of the better character creators I've ever used. Easily. Like, it's really good as a character creator in terms of, like, how you can shape your character's body and everything. Um, it was really... Or was it... Was it Dragon Age the Veilguard or was it Dragon's Dogma 2 that I'm thinking of? It was one of those because the names are so similar. I'm trying to remember which one it was that I'm thinking of. Because I did both character creators, but I think I know the Veilguard one was the one I did on my channel. In the Veilguard one, I made a dwarf character. So I think it might have been Dragon's Dogma 2 then. Maybe. Yeah, because I don't think it was a dwarf character I'm thinking of that had the really good one. I mean, both of them were really good, but still. Either way, getting back on point. So he enters this game. He creates his character, and one of the big things he does is he doesn't kind of want to be recognized for real life, so he always likes to have his face hidden. And so he chooses the bird mask because it's the only starting headgear that hides his face completely. Um, he also sells all his other starting gear to focus on offense instead, to focus on better weapons. Because it directly says in the episode that's how he likes to play. He likes to play with very little actual armor just so he can focus on the offensive weapons and focus on making those better. Which is an absolutely valid playstyle, and I've seen people do that in various games. Elden Ring, I believe that was kind of a trend to do. I think there was someone in Elden Ring who played that way and became like super popular because of it, and people started emulating it. But yeah, that is absolutely very specific playstyle. We also see that the class he chooses dual wields. He chooses a twin blade style, which, like I said in the reaction, I've done that kind of style in games before, like Skyrim. Um, it's not bad. I don't usually do like dual wielding most of the time, but I have done it. In games like that, I guess, or like games like Skyrim as an example, I would often use like sword and board most of the time. Um, but I would also use armor, so I was never quite on that side of things. We see he gets into a couple early fights. His first enemy spawn is a goblin who's super easy to take out. But the second one is this Vorpal bunny, which is like very clearly inspired by Alice in Wonderland and the Jabberwocky poem, both by Lewis Carroll. Um, funny enough, a lot of people like think the Jabberwocky is from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, which I don't think it's ever mentioned in any of the Alice stories. I think it's just from the completely separate poem. But the Vorpal Blade is in that as well, goes Snicker Snack and all of that. Um, so it's like kind of combine just Lewis Carroll works together, and a lot of things do that. Ruby Season 9 or Volume 9 was an entire Alice in Wonderland reference and even had a Jabberwocky in it, so. Um, but yeah, we see it's a lot tougher of an enemy, but still something he doesn't have too much trouble taking out. In fact, he ends up farming, which, if you don't know, is a gaming term when you basically hunt down a bunch of enemies in order to gain experience quicker, or materials, item drops, etc. He farms like a buttload of them, ends up getting two blades, because he dual wields, so he needs two of them. He ends up getting two of them. He fights some other enemies during this as well. He gets up to, I think it was level 14 or something like that. Um, I don't tend to do that too often in games. I don't tend to farm enemies for experience unless I really have to. Um, or if I am looking for some kind of specific drop. But usually I don't tend to do that. It's just not really my play style. Um, like if I'm looking to like upgrade a weapon or something and I need a specific drop, then I'll go and like specifically hunt it down. But it usually doesn't take me that long. So yeah. Um, but he is just kind of getting used to things, getting used to the way he can move in this game. He's noticing there's no bugs and glitches and stuff that he would usually have already experienced by this time. It's the very early points of him experiencing the game. We haven't really seen other player characters interact with him yet. There's a lot more to this game. We're going to have to see like quests and stuff, side quests. We're going to have to see different shops be brought in. There's so much to a game. And if my deep analysis and discussion about this and how like I can connect to certain aspects of this as a gamer myself, if that hasn't made it clear, yeah, I love this first episode. Like, again, I think I might have seen a clip once or twice on like TikTok, and I knew what the character looked like. I knew the bird head and all. I didn't know anything about the actual story, so I didn't know this was like very Sword Art Online like, except not an isekai. No one's trapped in the game, at least not yet. um, but yeah, it's really good because it feels like the people who made this understand gaming, and in that way, it kind of reminds me of this other anime that that I checked out in the past called High Score Girl, which was a absolute love letter to classic gaming, specifically centering around like the time of like Street Fighter 2 and all, which is directly in that series. But this feels more like a love letter to more like modern RPGs, especially like online RPGs where you're playing with other players and stuff. But even even just like standard open world RPG kind of thing. Like there's a lot of games that are very similar to this out now. You can make a lot of comparisons to in terms of the mechanics we've seen to a lot of things. And there's a lot that I could compare in terms of games I've played even recently. And I did. This is definitely something that appeals to me because it's definitely something that I can connect to, but also it's touching on a style of game that is absolutely my style of game. So like I'm into this. Like this was a really strong start. And I'm very excited to see where this goes. For those who are new, what this means though is that yes, I'm going to continue reacting to it, but it will not be right away. See, when I choose to continue reacting to a series that I did a first impression on, I put it on a list. I have a list of shows. And at some point in the future, I will, like, whenever I get an opening for a new show, I take a look at the list and it's like, okay, do I want to get to something that someone donated for? Do I want to get to a first impression? Do I want to get to something that I just want to get to? I kind of determine at that time, what do I want to get to next? And it can be something I checked out for a first impression recently. It can be something that I checked out a while back. It can be something that I had put on hold in the past. It could be something that someone donated for. There's a lot of different options. So it just kind of depends on when I end up being in the mood to get back to this. But I definitely do plan to get back to this. This one, like, really impressed me, really entertained me. And I'm very excited to see where it goes. So, we will see. I can't promise anything right now, but I will let you know when we do choose to get back to this one. That being said, thank you so much for tuning in to the Shangri-La Frontier portion of the Afterthoughts. If you are here to check out either of the other two shows we were reacting to today, they have their own separate portions of the Afterthoughts, their own separate parts, reactions in the links below. Please check those out. Let me know what you thought down in the comments, and thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get to the next one. And we are back with the Rising of the Shield Hero portion of the Afterthoughts. If you are looking for a different portion of the Afterthoughts, whether for Krapopolis or the Shangri-La Frontier, you're at the wrong one. Just check on the progress bar to where you're supposed to go. But if you are here for the Shield Hero portion of the Afterthoughts, we are going to begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, there's some other anime that has something similar to this, right? Like it's an isekai, and the person isekai, like I think they're like an older person who ends up becoming like a young kid or something who has like brown hair, and is like just kind of like the worst person ever. And there's some like rape plot with that too, in terms of how he's treated, but then how he gets like revenge on the woman who treated him that way. I can't think of what it's called right now, but you might know what I'm talking about. Um, and I've obviously heard of that series. Oh, is it like Mushoko Tensei? Is that what it was called? I don't know why that just came to mind. It just did. I think that might be what it is. I don't remember the character's name though at all. um, but it made me think of that when she like came when it came out that she was accusing him of rape and everything. Um, I obviously don't think Naofumi would go like as far as I believe the character in that one goes in terms of getting revenge. Because if what I remember hearing right about that other one, it's like he ends up becoming like even worse, and it's not good. Now Fumi is a good person, and he makes that clear even after he's ostracized, like giving the coppers as a thanks to that shopkeeper. And even though he could, he doesn't like try to fleece the shopkeepers when he's like threatening them with the little orange balloons. Um, he only wants the fair deal. He's also not trying to otherwise put anyone out. Like he even instead of staying at an inn, because I mean, mind you, he has no money. Instead of staying at an inn, he sleeps in the wilderness and stuff. And he does interact with like people because he kind of has to. But you also see at the end, like although he agrees to see what the slave trader has to offer, even after finding out he is one, you know that Naofumi does not agree with slavery. You could tell that he's like really grossed out by this kind of thing. But at the same time, the fact that they are, under this kind of curse where they can't betray you, where they can't betray their master, does interest him. Because after what happened, they can't lie and betray their master. And I talked about like maybe he would like buy Raftalia and then like set her free right after. But I almost kind of also feel like he'd be worried about doing that because then if he's not her master anymore, she could lie and betray him, right? But I don't know. I don't know how that would work. So maybe he would technically keep her on still in the same way, but not actually treat her as a slave, actually treat her as an equal still. That seems like something he would do. Um, and he'd know she'd be completely honest and loyal to him still. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm just wondering, like, what are we gonna do to like not only prove his innocence, but kind of get back at this at this bitch for accusing him of this. Um, because like everyone is against him right now, and they're just believing her, and it's unclear if the other dude is like has worked this out with her somehow. When would he have had the time? Because he was either with the other heroes or like I don't. How would they like have met in secret to plan this out? And the other two definitely weren't in on it. They seemed very confused and disgusted by the entire thing. Like they weren't in on it. I'm fully believing in that. Um, so they might even be easier to convince and to bring over to his side. And we know that like people can believe him because we saw the shopkeep like who was about to beat the shit out of him saw it in his eyes and could tell that he didn't do it. Yeah, I'm just curious as to where that's all going to go and how long it's going to take to resolve this storyline specifically. Um, Meanwhile, we see now Fumi's powers are entirely suited for defense and not offense, so he can't really do too much. And that's why the shield class isn't really chosen in a lot of the video games they're talking about. And why even the people of this kingdom were looking down on it even prior to, the accusation. Because the shield class is like entirely defensive. Although shields can be used as weapons in real life, it seems like this one, at least for now, can't. So he is definitely going to have to rely on his party members for now, at least, with Raphtalia. But the problem is, if Raphtalia gets a kill, she would get... Like, the experience wouldn't go to him, right? I mean, mind you, he's the only one who knows he has experience. Because, outside of the other heroes. Because that's something that the video game logic, for some reason, is just only for the heroes. It's a really odd inclusion. Because, like, in other shows and everything, when, like, they go into a world, like, a video game world, like Sword Art Online, they're in a video game. Even if they get trapped in there, they're in a game. Log Horizon, another example. But here, it's not. Even though it kind of, well, I don't know, maybe it is. Because the other three are all from different universes, different, like, parallel universes, where they all have a game that this world is exactly like. Outside of maybe the names and everything. All three of them. The only world that doesn't have a game that is specifically like this is now Fumi's. So maybe that's the point. Maybe this world is a game. Or at the very least, the games were, like, created and put into those other worlds as a way to find the heroes of legend. And the shield hero was already seen by the prophecy, by the legend, as being, like, unimportant. So they wouldn't need to bother, like, trying that with they would have, like, at least one world where they didn't bother with that, and they would get the shield hero from there. Just any random person, I guess. Because they didn't have faith in the shield hero just from the get-go. I mean, that's a possibility, and I guess that would make sense as to how, like, they would do some kind of magic to, like, imitate the game for the people they brought. It's like, oh, that way you know, like, what you're doing, and it's a way to allow you to understand things better, basically. It feels like a weird inclusion that's not entirely needed, though. I'm definitely curious as to, like, the specific storyline regarding that and how that is going to be resolved, more than I am about, like, the world itself, which is a weird feeling to have, because with a lot of shows and stuff that focus on, like, this kind of fantasy world, I'm very invested in learning more about the world. Because, like, when I play these kind of games, I love learning about the lore and the world building and all. But with this, I'm just not. Like, I don't care about the world building, the different monsters we're going to see and everything. The only kind of world building I care about is, like, how his shield is going to upgrade and how he's eventually going to be able to use or offense in some way. And then, the stuff related to the main plot and how he's going to either prove himself innocent, get revenge, or both. Like, I honestly don't really care about any other part of it. And I don't know how to feel about that. Because it's one of those situations where if I'm only watching this series for a single thing, I'm going to end up probably, like, maybe getting annoyed when I'm not like given that right away. Like it might take until the end of the season to have like any real resolution to that. And we might not get a lot of follow up in general for most of the season. It might focus on the other stuff. And the thing is, I don't care about that other stuff. Nothing in this episode made me care about, like, again, the world building, the monsters, any of that, really. So it's like, I feel like it would lead me into like a Little Witch Academia situation. And for those who don't know, I reacted to Little Witch Academia back in the day, the main series for it, because I have to specify that because there's a couple different adaptions for that. And I I kept like getting annoyed at the series for not revealing the quote unquote big secret about Ursula's identity the entire time, even though every one of us who were watching knew it from the start. But it wasn't revealing it to Akko's character, who it's like there was not really a reason to hold off on revealing it to her, considering like her story and everything about her character and all we knew. It's like it just kept holding off on the one thing I wanted to see it do, you know? And mind you, in the end, it ended up like having a good resolution, and the reveal itself, when it did happen, was well done. But I still feel like it kept dragging us along with that one thing, and it got really annoying. And I was insufferable the entire time watching that series, because I think there was a couple points where I like either thought about or maybe even did temporarily drop it because of that, because I was getting annoyed at the series just not addressing that. And like that was actually also one of the reasons why I initially dropped the Owl House, because there was one aspect that I was waiting to get addressed, and it was taking forever to get addressed, and I got really annoyed with the series for that and ended up originally dropping it. Mind you, I did pick the series back up and ended up loving it, and the resolution that did happen made it all worth it, but still. I feel like this is another one of those shows that I would be insufferable about. I feel like it's something that I shouldn't react to. Simply because I feel like if I do, I'm just going to be insufferable about like wanting to get to the plot about like resolving what happened with this lady. Mine is her name, right? Mine Sophia. I don't know why I say it like this. Sophia, mine Sophia, not Sophia. But either way, it's like, yeah, I feel like if I'm just gonna be harping on that like every single episode. And when we have episodes that don't address it at all, I'm gonna get really annoyed. And it's like, is that gonna be entertaining to you all? Do you want to see me like get annoying about that? I don't know how else to put it, because I feel like that wouldn't be entertaining for me to do in terms of reacting to it, but I feel like it also wouldn't be entertaining for you guys to watch. I don't know. It's like, because there's a part of me, it's like, I kind of enjoyed this enough, depending on how you look at the word enjoyed. I was invested enough to be willing to continue reacting to it. But again, with the way I feel like it's going to go, it's going to lead me to like really being annoying about it. And I'm going to get annoyed by it. Cuz like how many episodes is this? Let me look that up real quick. Cuz if this is like 12, 13 episodes, if it's a single core, that makes it a little better, but if it's like two core anime, then that would be, I feel like, insufferable to have to wait until like the end of the season for this to be addressed. 25. There's 25 episodes in at least the first season. Also, this only came out in 2019. I thought this was a couple years older than that. But yeah, it's one of those things with 25 episodes. It's like if they didn't like start getting to things until like episode 20, it's like again, I would be an absolute nightmare reacting to this. Cuz again, the episode was so effective with that reveal and with making me hate mine, and that it's all I really care about. Like I said, I'm interested in seeing how he levels up the shield in a way to make it like work offensively. Especially since we've seen he literally cannot use any other weapon. Like he's just literally not allowed. But that's a minor thing in terms of my investment. I'm far more invested in seeing that bitch get her comeuppance. And if that like doesn't even start to be like properly addressed and like resolved until like the end of the season, I'm not going to be enjoying watching this. And you guys will probably not enjoy watching my reactions to it because like I said, I'll be an insufferable little asshole the entire time, bitching about it constantly. And is that really good for anyone? I don't know. What I feel like I'm saying is I think this would be better to watch on my own time. I feel like this would be one of those shows that would be better to just experience on my own rather than try to force reactions to where it's like where I'm either seething in anger and not saying much or I'm just like constantly annoyed and bitching that the series isn't focusing on what I want it to focus on. I don't know. I don't know. And it's like I don't want to ask about like when this is addressed because it's like would consider that a spoiler. It's just the case of where I don't know if this would be smart to react to for me. I don't know, Venom, you were the one who donated for all of these. Maybe you can like try to figure out a way to like convince me. Because right now I'm just leaning towards watching it on my own time, maybe, whenever I would get the chance to do so. But if you can, like, convince me somehow, I welcome the challenge. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this. Um, I'm just left very confused and conflicted. And I'm not saying I want to make it clear. I don't think this was a bad first episode at all. I want to make that clear that I enjoyed this in terms of like overall quality. I just I don't know if it would be a good thing to specifically react to. That's all I'm saying. So I'm kind of in the dark right now. Um, I await your comment with bated breath. In the meantime, thank you for tuning in to this portion of Afterthoughts. There are the other portions of the Afterthoughts still on the redirect here. If you haven't checked those out yet and still want to, feel free, along with their respective reactions. And in the meantime, let's get to my final Afterthoughts. And welcome to the final Afterthoughts for this First Impressions Showdown. Um, so we will be going over like just the tiniest bit of spoilers for these three shows and my thoughts on them. So if you haven't seen the ones that you want to see already, I would suggest going back and watching them before you watch this part. And I'll just be talking about like which one was my favorite, which one was my least favorite, what I just thought of all of them generally speaking. And I will be talking about just, well, closing this out in general. So let's begin, and again, we'll have spoilers within this, and we'll begin in 3, 2, 1, now. So, no surprise, but my least favorite of these three was easily Krapopolis. Like, it wasn't even close. It was so terrible. It was just so goddamn bad. It was such a actively bad show. I really didn't like it. I thought it was like the complete antithesis of humor. It was it had so little effort put into every part of it. And they tried to like pad it out by or not pad it out. That's the wrong way to put it. They tried to make up for it by having like notable voice actors like Matt Berry and whatnot in it. Did not work. Or Keith David. There's another good one. Did not work. Didn't fix it. Didn't solve the problems. It was just really bad. And my favorite one, I didn't know which I thought would be my favorite, but Shangri-La Frontier really impressed me. It really felt like a love letter to like modern RPG gaming, especially online RPGs. In the same way that High Score Girl felt like a love letter to classic arcade gaming, especially fighters. And that's really like something I can really get into. Being a gamer myself, seeing a lot of the tropes talked about, seeing like them talk about glitches and bad NPCs and whatnot, but also seeing like really good shit in video games, like an amazing character creator, which again is something I just absolutely adore with video games. It's just like, yeah, that's my kind of shit. That's something I absolutely love to see and hope to see more of with shows that tackle video games and stuff in the future. I like the main character so far. I like the ideas of it. I like the designs. The visuals are great. It feels like very, standard fantasy world, which is definitely my kind of thing. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I also love that there's one enemy that is just directly a reference to both Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and the Jabberwocky poem by Lewis Carroll. I just thought that was really fun as a concept because I mean I love Alice in Wonderland. For those who might not have known, that's something I've always loved. And the Jabberwocky poem is one of my favorite pieces of literature ever. It is so creative. Um, but yeah, so that definitely appealed to me. And then Shield Hero was kind of in the middle of the two for me because while I very much enjoyed how it was like written and acted and just generally how it was presented and everything, it feels like the kind of show where I would be so invested in one singular thing, maybe two, that I would become insufferable when the show deviates from that at any point. I'm so specifically invested in the main storyline and how Naofumi was betrayed and everything that I don't want to see anything else until that is resolved. And I feel like if I continue to react to this, I feel like I'm just going to become an insufferable bitch, focusing on nothing but and getting angry and annoying when the series deviates in any way. And I don't know if that would be entertaining for you guys to watch, you know? So I'm kind of conflicted on whether or not I even want to continue reacting to that one. Um, so right now, I'm going to say the only one I'm confirming that I will be reacting to again in the future will be Shangri-La Frontier. I don't know at the moment if I'm going to continue reacting to Shield Hero. I'm basically going to have to be convinced to at this point, without spoilers too. So that's a thing. I know I'm giving you homework. I'm giving you difficult homework to try and convince me without using any spoilers of any kind. But it's like, if I'm going to continue reacting to it, especially, I don't want to be spoiled on anything, you know? So it's like, ugh. But Krapopolis, obviously not continuing, hated it. Wouldn't I don't want to even remember that it exists at this point. Um, and Shangri-La will absolutely be continued at some point in the future. I can't say when. I'm not going to promise anything, but at some point in the future. Whenever I end up just getting around to that specifically. But yeah, I definitely had a very mixed reaction on this set. There have been a set or two where it's been like all successes for me. There's been a set or two where it's been like all failures, but most of them I feel like are usually pretty mixed. Um, and I think for this one, I feel like I'm pretty pleased, I guess, with how it turned out, because it's like, even though I would have liked them to all be successes, and I always want to be proven wrong, I feel like I'm happy that there's at least consistency for the most part. Um, and I liked things that I would typically like. I dislike things that I would typically dislike. And so it kind of like worked out for me in that regard. I'm just I'm happy to have that consistency with myself as well, you know. But all of that being said, like I said before, these were all reward requests for Venom as well. They were chosen as first impression rewards. And so it's like, this is what is to be expected with this kind of stuff. Yeah, I I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect with Shangri-La Frontier going forward, but I have a feeling I'm really going to get into that one. With Shield Hero, I have no clue. And with Krapopolis, I already want to forget it. So, we'll probably have another one of these at some point in the near future. Because there's other shows I definitely want to check out that I'm thinking I want to do a first impressions showdown for. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. I will say that April is looking to be pretty busy, though. There's a lot coming out in April. And there's a couple things that I'm definitely going to be watching on my own time, though, like The Last of Us Season 2. That is absolutely on my own time. Don't even bother trying to, like, ask about that as a reaction series. Just like Squid Game, The Last of Us series is something I want to specifically watch on my own time. It is something I specifically want to just do for myself. But there's other shows that are coming out in April that I do really want to react to. So there's going to be plenty of interesting videos coming. One Piece, for one, is coming back, and that's a big one. So there's still going to be a lot of content, even if this showdown didn't like go like fully positive for everything. A lot of great content already in the planning, otherwise as well. There's always going to be plenty of content, shows, movies, etc. So thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on all three of these down below, or whatever ones you ended up watching. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.